If you're here because you have recently become an employer by taking on an employee, then congratulations. Naturally, one of the things you're going to be thinking about now is pensions, namely, when do I need to set up a scheme? So in short, probably straight away. It's most likely that at some point down the line, you are going to have employees for whom you need to pay into a pension, so you might as well get it set up now. You won't be needing to make contributions until someone is in that scheme, but it will be there ready for you. So now to work out if your employee needs to be within the pension scheme. And on the full blog, we have included a flowchart for you to work through to figure that out. But we'll go through it quickly. So the first thing to note is, are you employing only directors? So if you are employing only yourself, maybe another family member, as directors of the limited company, then it isn't actually a requirement that you are entered into a pension scheme. And in fact, it can be quite beneficial to make your contributions a different way. However, if your employees are not all directors of your company, then we might well need a scheme. The next question is, are these employees between the ages of 22 and 66? If the answer is no, then they are not eligible for a pension. However, you could decide to set up the scheme still for them. If the answer to that was yes, and your employees are between 22 and 66, then we need to know about their earnings. So if their earnings are at least £10,000 a year, so that works out at about £833 a month or £162 a year, then they do need to be in the pension. If their yearly earnings are lower than that, then they do not need to be enrolled in the pension, but again, you could choose to set it up for them. So as you can see, you might have some employees that fall into the brackets and some that don't. So that's why we're kind of saying it is worth just setting it up from the beginning. Some other things you need to know: how much are you going to be paying? So at the moment, the minimum contribution from you as an employer needs to be 3%, and the employees will pay 5%. And these are of the pensionable earnings. So that does not necessarily mean their gross salary amount, but we won't go into that detail now. There are lots of pension providers you can choose from. Some websites are easier to use than others. Some integrate with payroll software easier than others. We are not affiliated with any, but if you do chat with us, then there is one in particular that we do tend to recommend for ease of use. Enrolling your employees into the pension then. So once they become eligible, if you use, for example, Xero, like we do, to run your payroll, then straight away an eligibility enrolment letter will be produced for them. And this will simply tell them that they have been enrolled into the pension, all of the details, the contributions they'll be making, etc. And it will give them the instructions on how to opt out of the pension should they want to. So even if they are eligible, they can decide that they don't want to be in the pension scheme. That's up to them though, not you as the employer. There is such a thing as re-enrollment. So every 3 years, everyone who did opt out will be automatically re-enrolled and would need to decide to opt out again should they want to do that. And of course, depending on how you feel as an employer, you might have employees who aren't eligible as per the things we discussed earlier, but they might like to opt in and you might like to help them do that and make contributions as well. So it's not the most complicated thing in the world, but as you can see, there are a few pitfalls. So of course, if Pink Pig handle your payroll, we will handle all of the pension problems and issues for you, get that all set up and simply inform you what you need to pay each month. So if that is something you would like to have a chat about, then head to our website, click on the Get Started page, and we'll speak soon.